Karma Akabane, a name that resonates with rebellion, intelligence, and a complex need to prove himself. But what lies beneath his defiant exterior? In this exploration of Karma's psyche, we dive deep into the Enneagram, revealing a core Type 8 pattern, a personality driven by the need to avoid being controlled, humiliated, or rendered powerless. This is not simply about winning. It's about ensuring that no one can exert power over him without earning it first. Karma's rebellion isn't random. It is a calculated response to environments that demand obedience without respecting the individual. His refusal to trust authority blindly, unless it proves competent and fair, paints a portrait of a young man constantly testing the boundaries of power and autonomy. Karma's early experiences in institutions that reward conformity have shaped his strategies. The formative ecosystem of his life, a rigid educational system and the adults within it, often demanded submission without understanding or respect. The ecosystem trained him to equate strength with resistance. Karma learned that to survive, he must not let anyone see him as vulnerable or easily controlled. This world of school discipline and punitive authority figures only fueled his defiance. Yet, in Koro-sensei, he finds a mentor who challenges this belief. Koro-sensei doesn't seek blind submission. Instead, he offers Karma challenges that engage his intellect and autonomy. The relationships Karma navigates highlight his internal conflict and potential for growth. With Koro-sensei, Karma pushes boundaries, constantly testing whether this authority figure is genuinely worthy of respect. Koro-sensei, instead of punishing Karma into submission, meets his provocations with humor, respect, and an unwavering belief in Karma's potential. This dynamic allows Karma to explore the possibility that not all authority is a threat. In contrast, Principal Asano represents the traditional model of authority, one that sees someone like Karma as a threat to be broken or subdued rather than nurtured. Karma's friendship with Nagisa is another intriguing dynamic. They are mirrors for each other's unacknowledged strengths. Nagisa helps Karma access a side of himself that values restraint and emotional awareness, while Karma encourages Nagisa to be more assertive. This relationship demonstrates how Karma's defenses are not impenetrable. They can be softened by genuine connection. As Karma's story unfolds, we see a chronological arc that ties back to his core motivations. Karma begins as a character who is sharp, defiant, and protected by his confidence. With each challenge, he learns that intelligence and rebellion alone cannot always win the day. These moments force him to confront his own limitations and question whether he wants to be the smartest person in the room or someone truly capable of collaboration, capable of losing without seeing it as a personal failure. The breaking point for Karma comes when he must decide if his identity will remain bound to defiance or if he will allow himself to grow. Trust, mentorship, and vulnerability do not inherently weaken him. Instead, they provide new avenues for his power to flourish. Karma realizes that strength with discipline, discernment without sabotage, and winning without avoiding vulnerability are paths to a healthier expression of his core desires. Addressing the shadow self, Karma's darkest tendencies are rooted in a cycle of testing everyone until they inevitably fail, using these failures as justification for his mistrust. However, when he begins to integrate these shadows, his strength becomes more than just rebellion. It transforms into a disciplined force capable of building meaningful connections and recognizing that authority, when earned, can be a source of mutual respect rather than control. For those watching, Karma's journey is a mirror reflecting our own struggles with authority, control, and the defensive postures we adopt to protect our inner selves. His story encourages us to ponder: do we, like Karma, equate power with resistance? Are we avoiding vulnerability by testing others, pushing them away before they can reject us? As we reflect on Karma's transformation, we are invited to consider how embracing our shadow selves and finding true strength in connection might change our own lives. In exploring karma's evolving relationship with authority, we delve deeper into the interplay of his Enneagram Type 8 characteristics. This is a landscape marked by his struggle between dominance and vulnerability, a delicate dance that often tips toward his instincts to control and assert. Yet, as karma's narrative progresses, we witness his gradual shift from seeing authority as a force to resist to understanding it as a potential for collaboration. This transformation is not instantaneous. It is a nuanced journey filled with internal conflicts and pivotal moments that shake his foundational beliefs. The pivotal scene that marks this transformation is an encounter with a seasoned mentor figure, someone who embodies the archetype of the wise old man. This mentor subtly challenges karma's worldview not through direct confrontation, but through a consistent demonstration of restraint and quiet power. In this relationship, for the first time, karma is not met with the opposition he anticipates, but with an invitation to trust and be himself beyond the walls he has constructed. The mentor's calm and patient demeanor serves as both a mirror and a canvas, reflecting karma's potential for growth. At first, karma's response is predictable: skepticism and defensiveness. But the mentor's unwavering presence plants seeds of curiosity within him. Karma begins to question the nature of the power he seeks. Is it simply the power to dominate, or could it be the power to inspire, to lead with empathy rather than fear? The mentor's influence nudges karma towards a reevaluation of what strength truly means, prompting him to engage in introspection that had previously been deflected by his default defensiveness. As karma grapples with this inner turmoil, the narrative transitions into a scene of high tension, a scenario where his usual tactics of defiance and wit fail him. Here, the stakes are personal, touching on his deepest fears of inadequacy and isolation. In that moment, stripped of his defenses, karma faces the raw question of whether his identity as a solitary genius truly serves him or simply isolates him further. This crisis catalyzes an epiphany. Strength need not be solitary or antagonistic. In the archetypal hero's journey, this moment signifies the approach to the innermost cave where karma confronts the dragon of his own making, the fear of vulnerability. It is here that the shadows of his psyche, previously externalized onto others, are turned inward. These shadows, once cast as distrust and hostility, are now recognized as fear and hurt. It is the alchemization of these emotions that propels karma into a realm of integrated self-awareness. As karma accepts these parts of himself, he steps into the role of the shapeshifter, a character who can adapt, who is no longer confined by a singular narrative of defiance. The shift is palpable, not just in his interactions, but in his internal dialogue. He begins to see failure not as an endpoint, but as a stepping stone to deeper wisdom. His defensive postures soften. He learns to listen, to engage in dialogues rather than confrontations. This newfound humility and openness unlock a cascade of possibilities. Karma discovers that leadership is not a singular vision imposed upon others, but a collective journey fostered through shared vulnerability and trust. With each interaction, where he previously sought to assert, he now seeks to understand. This transformation extends beyond personal growth, influencing the ecosystem of relationships around him. As karma embraces this transformation, those around him respond, revealing a network of potential that had been stifled by his former rigidity. For the audience, karma's evolution is a tapestry of universal themes. It challenges us to reflect on our own perceptions of strength and vulnerability. Are we clinging to illusions of control, mistaking them for power? Do we fear that relinquishing our defenses might lead to our undoing, when in fact it might just forge the connections we crave? In karma's unfolding story lies a profound lesson. The journey towards self-awareness and authentic power is neither a linear path nor a solitary one. It requires the courage to face our shadows, the willingness to redefine strength, and the openness to let others in. Through karma, we find a mirror to our struggles, an invitation to embrace the intricate dance of authority and vulnerability, ultimately leading us toward a richer, more connected existence.